Hello everyone, welcome back to SportsKhabri and Arun Foot. We are here to talk about Jamshedpur versus NorthEast. 1-1 in the end, Anuma, and it felt like a 1-1 sort of game. Both sides went punch for punch, and I think 1-1 was deserved in the end. Do you think it was a sort of game that probably ended with the right scoreline in the end?
I think so. I think what we've been speaking in the first half of the season, and a very warm good evening to everyone. First of all, is that the teams who are fighting for that sixth spot, they are all of somewhat of a similar standard, of a similar level, which means that when these teams play each other, either you have a standout performance and one of them gets a win, or the teams, even it's, as I said, even each other out, and then the games end in a draw.
Yeah, and these sort of results, I think, in the end, don't help anyone. I know, it sort of, I mean, it helps the other teams, but the teams getting these draws not really doing much for themselves. You've got Northeast now sitting on 13 points. Chennai have 12, East Bengal 11, BFC 11. But again, East Bengal have played just the 10 games, so they've got a bit of an advantage there. Do you think East Bengal are sort of placed best here in this sort of in this pack of 5-6 teams? Because they've played 2 games lesser, they've got 11 points.
If you look at it from statistical standpoint, yes, but again, football is not chess. It's not something which you can sort of plan and strategize and say, I want to win this, I'm going to win that. I think they need to win their games as well, and East Bengal had a lot of draws before the break. So therefore, I hope it'll be interesting to see. I think it's Jamshedpur is a bit of a problem because again, they're from 13 matches, they've got now 10 points. But again, that is one win away from Northeast United, and Northeast United lose their next match. So therefore, it is so close. It is so difficult to say. Therefore, I'm saying is again, even Punjab FC is in this as well still. Therefore, I think that's the situation, and all of these teams.
And top of that, the tricky thing for East Bengal is Nai saying East Bengal are probably happy with today's result, but they play Mohan Bagan once they return. I mean, in their first game back on return. So that's not an easy game. And to go again and play your arch rivals first game back is probably not the sort of start that you would have wanted when you saw the fixture list coming out. So keeping that in consideration, yeah, probably they're not. I don't know if I had to put it to you, which team is best placed out of these 6 teams? Would you be able to give me an answer?
No. If you want an honest answer, no, because I think again, as I said, I think all these teams. That's why I keep Punjab in the pack. If Punjab win 2 matches, they're back in it, and that's something where these kind of games are important. If Northeast United or Jamshedpur, especially Jamshedpur playing at home, had won this game, that's the extra 2 points that you get from such a game. So therefore, this is the difficulty that all these teams face themselves in. They have to start getting results. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. Northeast United has only 2 wins and 7 draws.
Yeah.
And again, even if you have, let's say, 2-3 draws less, but you have 1 win more, and even if you have 2, again, it's a bit of a tricky thing. And I understand was Kachra saying that has a zero winning mentality. I wouldn't say that. I think it's also depends really on the players that you have available. And again, Northeast had such a good start to the season that for them, we spoke a lot about Parthiv Gogoi. We spoke about Nestor as well. So therefore, it's always important that these players do get the goals and the result. And the same thing, we were speaking about Khalid Jamil coming back, Chimachukwu in form. It's going to be a very interesting part in the sense of, are you able to get a result? And at the end of the day, I think 1-1, and especially how it ended towards the end, you felt there were like half chances, but it wasn't like, one team was really pushing for those 3 points.
Yep. And it only gets interesting from here because Anava, next up for Northeast is East Bengal. It's another mid-table clash, which is probably going to have a huge impact on how things pan out. And up next for Jamshedpur is a home game against BFC. So these are two games that are going to be very, very interesting. Do you think these are the games that will decide eventually what happens? If one of these teams can sneak a win here, then that would sort of, I mean,
Um,
create
Again,
gaps in the pack.
every game I think is important. I think it's the difficult part now is to say, is it one game which will decide sort of, which side is going to have the advantage and is going to it's going to win the tournament, right? In the sense, win the sixth spot. I think again, and the challenge is you have to collect as many points as possible. You have to be before that final match day, have the opportunity to get into a position where you can finish sixth. I think that's the
Yeah.
most important one. If you are in the either you're good enough that one of these teams gets so many points that they ensure that they got like a 4 point gap ahead of the rest, or otherwise you have to somehow get into a situation where you are there and thereabouts and could finish sixth on that last match day. So therefore, that's the interesting part of this. But I think if today is any indicator, I think it could become a snail's race between these teams. Right? I think we'll see a lot of draws. It looks like at the moment.
Yeah, potentially. Hiren, what did you make of the game today?
Definitely, I think interesting start from the Jamshedpur. I think in first 15 to 20 minutes they dominated the game, but after that, I think you can say Northeast United find their rhythm. But as expected, I think this is a two side who are in terms of the quality wise and in terms of the form wise. I think very similar. They have their ups and downs. Northeast United started very well in the first half of the season, then they lose the form. Jamshedpur has their you can say the first half of the season is not that great, but in I think Super Cup they find their confidence. So I think that's visible today also in the pitch. But I think two interesting side who can I think give a tough fight to other sides and very interesting match as देखने को मिला. I think there are a couple of new signings also appear on the field. So that's quite interesting to see how they are going to adjust in the ISL and what are the impact they are going to make. Regargui looks interesting. Uh, so quite interesting from the Pedro Benali to be honest, and Khalid Jamil also using their side and giving a youngster also chance. So overall, an interesting match for me to be honest. And as expected, I think draw is a fair result.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's exactly what we also said, Hiren. I think the draw was a fair result. I'm going to ask you the same question as Arnava. If you have to choose between for one side to now, can you sort of pinpoint one team to sort of take sixth place? You think who's placed better than the rest?
I think your side has made some interesting signings, so I think
Yeah.
they looks now strong, and they I think half of the Hyderabad FC the players you have been in summer Rohit Danu, Holitaran Nazari, now Sana and Nikhil. So four Hyderabad FC last season player you have signed, but I think BFC now can look a little bit more. You can check a strong side, and East Bengal is in contention. Northeast United, Jamshedpur, चेन्नई एंड एफसी लिटिल बिट मेरे को लगता है कि आई थिंक जो साइनिंग्स वो जानुअरी ट्रांसफर विंडो में करना चाहते थे लेकिन वो कहीं ना कहीं वो इनको नहीं कर पाए हैं सो उसका इम्पैक्ट में भी देखने को मिल सकता है बट फॉर मी आई थिंक ईस्ट बंगाल एंड बेंगलुरु आर दी टू साइड्स जो मेरे को लगता है कि फेवरेट है फॉर दी सिक्स्थ पोजीशन then I would put up Northeast United and Jamshedpur and Chennai FC.
Another Bate is saying Northeast should look to play long. Do you agree? And is that an option there? Does Nesta seem like that kind of player to you who likes? Doesn't seem like it, right? Like yeah,
He is
I
more of
think
a creator, I think.
yeah, exactly.
he's Spanish, so try to put the ball into his feet. Would
Yeah.
be my solution. I don't think that this is something where you try and sort of play. It's not like I don't know an old-fashioned English striker, right? Or a that kind of a thing. So therefore, this is a player. Northeast has the players where you can get or need to get the ball into their feet. With again Nestor, Parthiv Gogoi. If you see that you've got players like Falguni and all, it's a technically talented team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, Hiren, Parthiv Gogoi back. I mean, has it sort of died down that initial burst that we saw, 3 games, 3 goals, and then I think everybody, Arnava said it, and you said, I think you also said it, that you have to wait. Let's wait. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's see how things progress. What are you seeing from him now?
No, definitely, that's bound to happen for any Indian player, to be honest. To continuously making that impact is not going to be easy, and I think that's what we seeing from the party. But I think he's playing overall. His gameplay is good, but I think still needs to improve a lot of things. So it's just not
Yeah.
like he is a finished product and he can deliver match by match. I think he will have his matches in this initial year of his career as a youngster. I think after some of the year he might be consistent, but till now he is in a learning phase. So definitely that inconsistency will be there, and as we already on seen with the other Indian player also, the consistency is the main issue with the players. But I think he is quite young, so I think he will learn his mistake and definitely made a good impact in upcoming matches. But you, as you mentioned rightly, just not, you can say, put up a lot of pressure on him, or you can say expect a lot of things from him in every match. I think
Hmm.
he will have his matches, and let's see how he's going to, you can say, um, span out.
Mm. Another one guy who's always, I think, probably in Northeast's most consistent player, Bema Mer, again steps up. Defensively, so solid every single time you see him playing in that sort of deeper midfield position. Today comes and chips in with their goal from outside the box. Uh, has he been one of the standouts for you this season? Because he's one that goes under the radar because of his position. He doesn't, of course, he's not in the limelight scoring a lot of goals and things like that, but he he does so many good things for Northeast, and a lot of that good work comes from him. So, is he one of the standouts in the ISL? I'm talking about this season.
Yes, I would think that he is a little bit of a more defensive-minded version of an Ahmed Jahu, right?
Yeah,
Solid, very good with the ball, and I think it was the first one on Rei Tachikawa, right? Where he physically sort of outmuscles the Japanese. Of course, in the end, it's a foul, but you
yeah,
see the intention of, listen, you will not get past me, and if there is the risk of you getting past me, I will commit the foul in the worst case, just to ensure that you don't get past me. So that is something which I say is it's very commendable. And of course, yes, we think that he's sort of a destructive number six, but he's chipped in with creativity. He's chipped in with goals. So yeah, very good signing by Northeast United. One of the best last summer.
yeah. Hiren, any consistent players from Jamshedpur that you want to point out? Of course, Manzoro's probably in that list, but do you see any standout performers, one or two from their side this season?
I think for me, I think El Sino is it turned out to
Okay.
be one of the good signing for Jamshedpur in the backline. I think he has the capability as a leader, and I think how he is holding the backline. I think that's a quite interesting for me. So Manzaro is obviously, I think, is there, but I think the backline of Pratik Chaudhary, Uwais, and I think लाकड़ा आई थिंक उसकी उतनी ज्यादा बात नहीं होती अगर इंडियन प्लेयरों के पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर आप देखें, क्योंकि जमशेदपुर उतने ज्यादा मैचेस जीते नहीं. But if you see Jamshedpur first half of the season also, they lose all the matches by, I think, most of the matches they lose by the 1 goal margin, and their
Yeah.
backline is quite something. So I think उतने ज़्यादा बात नहीं हुई है. So I think this back four, I think, is quite turning out to be a good back four जो आगे जाके maybe और भी ज़्यादा better यहाँ पे performance दे सकते हैं. But El Sino for me, their foreign signing अगर आप देखें, they turn out well.
Yep, yep. Um, Bema Mer, again, there's more praise for Bema Mer in the chat as well. Bema is solid since the start of the season. He still works hard both ends, which is true. More pace than Jahu. I mean, although Arnava did compare them, but that's a little more different. I think Jahu is
No,
that.
I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying is because
Yeah,
of course both of
yeah,
them are Moroccan, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's sort of the thing to me is Ahmed Jahu is most probably one of the most stylish footballers we have in the ISL, who can be a little careless as well. But you've also got grit, so to say, in both these players, right? That intention to fight it out when it's needed, right? And that those are the similarities. But I think that Bevermeer is a much better defensive player, and so yeah, so that's also a reality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think it just looks like Jahu has a little bit more flair and guile when you compare him
Hmm.
to
He's
Bemamer,
kind
who's a
of
little.
a Busquets kind of a player.
Yeah, exactly. I think Bemamer is probably a little more of a warrior-ish type
Hmm.
player and
Mm.
seemed working very, very hard. Um, well, yeah, guys, this was the game, and of course, transfers are on everyone's mind last day, and Johnny Coco, Hiren,
आई थिंक न्यूज आ रही है, मैंने ऑफिशियल तो कोई देखा नहीं है कि जॉनी कोको इज बैक। आई
yeah,
थिंक काफी सारे लोग यहाँ पे रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, बट लेट्स आई थिंक राहुल क्लब बाय क्लब चलते हैं ताकि कोई मिस ना
sure,
हो जाए।
sure.
आई थिंक सो स्टार्टिंग कौन सा क्लब से करना है?
Let's
केरला
start from the
ब्लास्टर।
table toppers. Table toppers, we'll go how the table is lined up right
ओके।
now. Blasters, Hiren. Blasters signings for January transfer window.
Feder Konis replacement of Adrian Luna and Kwame Pepe's replacement Emelian. So these two foreign signings. Indian signings तो I think ऐसे तो उन्होंने कोई की नहीं है मेरे हिसाब से. So this is the two signing जो उन्होंने की है, but I think that's the big shoes to fill up because Adrian
Yeah,
Luna's impact we already seen, and I think Kwame Pepe सेट I think सीजन जब ये ब्रेक आने वाला था उससे पहले वो मतलब वो अपने फॉर्म में आ रहे थे, so उसको भी lose करना, I think that's a big blow for, to be honest, for
that's
Kerala
true.
Blaster. But they have quite some interesting player as an Indian contingent अगर आप देखें तो, and they also loan out Bryce Miranda to Punjab FC
Yeah.
and विद्यासागर भी यहाँ पे पंजाब एफसी चला गया है. So those two players has been sent to the Punjab FC and they call up two players from their B side, Koro Singh and other I think other Das something like that, a player I forgot the name. उसको यहाँ पे उन्होंने बी टीम से यहाँ पे फर्स्ट टीम में कॉल अप किया है. So I think a very good window for the Kerala Blaster. I think they didn't need to, you can say, sign too many players. I think they already have, they just have to, you can say, fill the gap of the injured player Adrian Luna and Kembe Pepe. So they have done that. Yes, Aritra Das. Yes, Aritra Das has been called up to the senior team. So
Hmm.
quite window for them. No, but I'm interested to see how Feder Konis is going to play in ISL and how he is going to adjust and what are the impact he is going to make. So that's a quite interesting signing for me.
Pindrop saying we're doomed. Is that because of Luna's absence? I'm not sure. And Pepra's also gone. But anyways, we'll see
बट
how.
लूना तो देखिए राहुल, लूना तो सीजन का ब्रेक पहले से ही वो आउट हो गए थे ना, तो उसके
Exactly,
उसके
exactly.
बाद भी टीम ने परफॉर्मेंस दी है.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we'll go club by club. Arnava, Goa.
I mean, Goa seems to have tried to recreate Hyderabad FC. I mean, I know you guys are talking about BFC, but
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I think Goa have done it more than other teams. Of course, as first Borja Herrera coming in, Mohamed Yasir coming in first from
Mm,
Hyderabad straight away. Borja Herrera coming in from East Bengal, and then you've had Nimtorji Damang, coming in as a late replacement for Sandesh. Um, they've just look to replace this. There's one more potential foreigner coming in. So let's wait and see what happens on that front. But yeah, it's I think Goa looked very settled to me, very very settled. If I look at but that injury that Victor Rodriguez picked up against Mohun Bagan was just too serious. I think
yep. But yeah, I think expecting more of the same Hiren from FC Goa. Just lost Arnava there for a bit. Yeah, no.
sorry. So I'm saying it's losing Victor Rodriguez is a big thing. So I'm interested to see what Borja Herrera does. It will be interesting to see how they try and keep that momentum, because again, Nimdorji Tamang, has done well this season despite all the problems at Hyderabad FC. But he's not a Sandesh Jingan, right? So Sandesh,
Yeah.
but again, the advantage is Uday has also has a Hyderabad history with him. So therefore, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Manolo uses that squad now.
Yep. A club that is that I've seriously grown fond of over last year or so, Odisha FC. Hiren, again, expecting more of the same from them, and of
I
course
think
transfer.
they made two quite interesting signing, which I think they much needed. One is the Vignesh Dakshinamurthy on the left side because Zeri is their weak link, to be honest,
Yeah.
in the starting 11. So I think that's the interesting one because you are competing in the two tournament now, AFC Cup and ISL. So you also have to keep in mind that. And other one is Hitesh Sharma. That's I think more interesting for me because he's a very good potential. Played very well in last season. This season he didn't get too many minutes, but he is a talent which can be utilized as a substitution and can add a extra value because you have already Putia, Lenny, and Ahmed Chau. So he can be a great value addition in the midfield department. To be honest, I think these are the two players they have made a signing in this winter transfer window, and I think a couple of players leaves also from the uh, Odisha FC. Think one or two players they have sent it to the loan. One is to I think Dempo में एक player को उन्होंने send किया है and one is I think in the Punjab FC. So those two player leaves, but I think these two are a very interesting signing as
Yep.
you can say bench strength wise.
Yep. I don't know. Moving on to Mumbai City, of course, your team, and this table game has sort of played out nicely.
Yeah, I mean, Mumbai City has had a few issues in regard to on-field behavior towards ends of matches, and Peter Krapke was clearly not happy with this whole situation. We had the situation that Greg Stewart wanted to go back to Canada, and that's one thing. I think Greg Stewart has been one of the best foreigners in the recent past in the ISL. So that is a hit for India and for the ISL and especially for Mumbai City. And then we had this incident the other day in the semi-final of the Super Cup, which involved Royston Griffiths, which to some extent also involved Jorge Pereira Diaz. The team was not happy with Abdel Nasser Al Khayati, who I regard as one of the best technical foreigners to have come to India, but again, at Mumbai has not been able to show really what to some extent he showed last season in Chennai, and therefore those guys have been released. So Mumbai is in the market. They have brought back former Goa striker Iker Garosena. So that's one. They're talking to some others. There's a Syrian centre back who's currently playing against Iran, who's on the cards as well, because they
Mhm.
need to bring in an Asian quota foreigner. And again, there were some rumors regarding Jorge Pereira Diaz might also be discussions going on because there's also that thing. But it seems to be that at the moment he seems to be staying. But again, the transfer period is still open for a few hours, so we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. And on the other side, they made an interesting signing, Ishan Sisodia, talented Indian junior who has been with Odisha FC, has joined them to bring in another talented player. So Mumbai City, I think, has amongst the most talented 18, 19, 20-year-olds in their squad. I think they and on the other side, I think Kerala Blasters have a lot of these young talented players. So yeah, that's the situation. Mumbai FC. I think what I said also yesterday. I think an interesting part is that Kratky is making changes now. So he I think he's risking this season. I think Mumbai will go into the playoffs. That's no doubt. But let's see if they can win the Shield or win the playoffs. On the other side, for them, I think it's interesting. I think that they'll have a better squad ready for next season. I mean, the most interesting one is we'll talk about it when we get to BFC. Is I think Nikhil Pujari, who had seemed yesterday at some. It looked like Mumbai City was done. Then it seemed like East Bengal is ahead, and then BFC were ahead. Then again Mumbai were ahead. It was very very interesting in the end. It seems like a long term BFC contract was the thing which got them the player. So it's an interesting, very, very interesting last 2-3 days that we've had. Sort of, it was very weird that as long as the Super Cup was running, it was quiet, and now since the last 2 days, the market is sort of heated up, and clubs are trying to do something before the start or restart of the ISL.
Yeah, absolutely. The big, I mean, of course, the big team. I mean, they've spent huge in the summer. Mohun Bagan, Hiren, ins and outs there.
I think they have all the, you can say, key fireworks in the summer, so this time they remain the quiet, and I think they didn't make any signing. I think if Johnny Coco comes, then I think that's the only one signing.
Mm.
Other than that, I don't see they made any signing. So I think they are also, I mean, in terms of the foreign quota wise, I don't see they only really, needed a defensive midfielder. In terms of the Indian player signing, I think they definitely need a one Indian center back, which they also gone for the Sana, but eventually he joins BFC. So I think they have a very good player on the bench also. I think they have a settled team. So I don't see any point to just make a, you can say, key signing as window is going on. So that's the thing, and I think their plan. What is the plan after this? You can say key remainder of the season. Is they going with the same coach? They want to bring a new coach. So I think that will be also factor. जो मतलब अभी signing, and if the new coach is comes, he wants another player. So I think that's the sensible thing to do right now. The only thing which they needed, I think, is defensive midfielder. But I think Johnny Coco अभी तक confirm नहीं हुआ है, so let's wait and watch.
Yeah. Another question on Mumbai City. Joel's asking, is there any truth in the rumors surrounding Mumbai approaching Adrian Luna for future seasons?
I have not heard anything on that. But again, if the Mumbai guys are looking to bring in players of quality, I think Adrian Luna certainly is one of the best in the league. So it makes sense for them to try and do something if potentially is available. But again, he's a Blasters legend, right? So
yeah.
And just to add on Mohun Bagan, I'm just surprised with that that you have Antonio Lopez Habas coming in. The squad does not really fit what he will most probably want to play and want to get out of the squad. Centre back was an issue. I think they were looking. I think it'll be interesting to see if Anwar is fit enough to play the whole season. And that is the challenge. And there was this rumor that Hugo Bumus might return to Mumbai. So that was one rumor which was going around. So there were some other rumors. I think when the ISL stopped, Sadiq was going to leave, or they're going to get rid of Cummings and all that kind of stuff, and all of them are still there. So that's a very interesting one. That these guys are all there. There was a rumor, Hector Houston might leave, or Brandon Hamill supposedly had an offer from Indonesia. All of them are still there.
I think I have to come back to you itself, Anava, for NorthEast. Yeah.
NorthEast is an interesting one. I think NorthEast have had a lot of momentum at the start, but somehow didn't keep that momentum. So therefore, that's an interesting one to see. I mean, they have brought in two players in Hamza Ragrarui and in Tommy Juric. Tommy Juric, former Aussie international, played in Europe, quite experienced, but has had a history of injury. So that would be interesting. They were not happy with Ibsen Melo. So therefore, Ibsen Melo left the club. But Yasser Hamid was good. I mean, he even played for Palestine in the Aviation Asian Cup. Good centre back. So therefore, we'll be interested to see how they sort of do in the coming weeks and months.
Yep. Here next on the table is Chennai FC.
Chennai FC, I think, as I mentioned earlier, they want ONCL wanted two signing, but I think they only managed to get a one. I think they signed this from East Bengal. I think what is his name? I think midfielder.
Mobashir Rahman.
Mobashir, yes, Mobashir. So that's a interesting signing in midfield because you have a Chiteshwar, Ayush Adhikari, and then Batecho and everyone. But I think still they go for the Mobashir. So that's an interesting one. I think Chennai and FC wanted some of the signing, but I think eventually that didn't happen. So that's their. They also, you can say he just made only one sign. So their transfer window is also quite a silent.
Fair enough. I know East Bengal.
Yeah, a lot of talk about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. It looked like Falke would be their sort of marquee signing, and then it didn't happen at all. They were looking at other signings as well. Borja Herrera's left. They've looked at options regarding strike as well. It looks like even Severio supposedly is in conversation of leaving for Jamshedpur. So that's it. Made a big signing in Victor Vasquez to come in, who's a ex-Barca player, big name in America and the MLS. Will be interesting to see if he's that different player. He has the potential. So would be a good replacement for Borja Herrera, but interested to see if Severio leaves, who's his replacement.
Yep. Coming to BFC, guys, I thought I'll just take this one. Three signings, please let me know if there are more. I think Oliver Drost was the first one to come in. And I think BFC, one thing what they've done this transfer window is got the players that they needed. We needed a striker, foreign striker, because Curtis Main wasn't doing the job. Got in Oliver Drost. It'll be interesting to see how he performs. Then you've got the two Indian signings, which I think were the most important ones. Sana Singh, an Indian centre back, we needed it, and he's come in. To be fair to Shankar, he looked okay in the Super Cup, but was not doing well in the ISL. So that's there. And I think Nikhil Pujari is fantastic for BFC, because to have a local boy, I think BFC needed that. I think the fans needed a player like that to get behind as well. And when you have that local connection to a player, I think it's great. So extremely glad Nikhil Pujari is in. And of course,
one question. I mean, how does a Mangalore boy become a Bangalore boy?
No, it's just Karnataka. Karnataka is Karnataka, so we'll just take them all and it's
because I see Shaggy also saying it's a cultural signing. I mean, somehow to me it doesn't add up really, because I love the creatives that BFC have been doing over the last 2 days with the signing. But to me, the question simply is like, okay, what is if Mangalore actually had a quality team and had players from there? Because that is something which is but again, it's just an observation from my side.
No, fair enough. Exactly. I think Shaggy is right. It's all about Karnataka, and I think So, yep. That's what it is. I think it's nice for the fans also to get that local connect. It's nice that Pujari is there, but I think from a football perspective, we needed a right back desperately. We've seen Simon Grayson experiment with multiple players. Bhutia's played at right back. Roshan's played at right back. We had Prabir Das play there last season. So we've had, I think Robin Yadav also played there. So we've had a few players who played there, and that was finally nice to have a right back. We know Pujari is going to play every game at right back, and it allows Roshan to play either up front or at left back. So needed that signing. So it's great for BSC. Hoping for a good second half. Hiren, Jamshedpur.
Jamshedpur, I think Javier Severio has been done. So that's the interesting one, because to be honest, I think Javier Severio is not, you can say, perform as per the expectation at the East Bengal also, and last year at the Hyderabad FC also. So let's see if his career revive at Jamshedpur FC. That remains to be seen. Other than that, I don't see any signing they made. Sorry. Is there any signing they made in other than that Javier Severio? I don't think so.
No, they were supposed to. I think they were looking at some. some teams, some players from their reserves and from the Tata Football Academy. They're taking some, you know, from TFA, but I don't know if they've actually taken those boys into the first squad.
Okay. Again, somebody in the chat suggesting Vignesh, sort of again another Kannada boy, to come to BFC, and I would actually take him. Would you guys take Vignesh over who's it? Who's the left back right now? Jessel
The Goan
Cardero.
boy,
Would you
yeah.
take?
Carrera.
Would you take Vignesh over Jessel?
That's a good question. I mean, if I see both
I
of
would
them,
actually do. I actually would. That's,
I would. It depends on if both of them are in top form. You know,
Top form.
I mean, Vignesh has played. I mean, Vignesh and Mumbai City has at some extent replaced Vanda Rao Desai, right? And Jessel Cardero was captain at Kerala Blasters, right?
Kerala
So to
Blasters.
me, those are two good players. Jessel to me has not fully arrived at BFC, I feel. So that's that. And with Vignesh has been always typical Indian player, up and down. Very talented guy. Has a very good shot, but sometimes you don't know where the ball is going to go, right? So you know, decision making sometimes. So that would be interesting to see how you play and build.
I know, coming to you again about another former side of yours, Punjab.
Some signings today. Vidyasagar and Vidyasagar. I always get confused with Vidyasagar and Vidyananda always. As one, and Bryce Miranda from Kerala Blasters. I know that they were looking at some potential foreigner replacements. Doesn't seem to, it doesn't seem to like that things have happened. And they're trying one or two other players as well, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to get them. Mashur Sharif has left them, has gone back to Gokulam, Kerala. And then let's see. I mean, they didn't, even in the Super Cup, they didn't play badly, but they're just not getting the results in that sense. And that's, I think, the worry for the coach, Psychos, that he needs the results to be able to challenge. And again, Bryce Miranda has the potential, but in that lineup of Kerala Blasters, very difficult. If you see that you have theoretically, you've got Adrian Luna on a wing, you've got Rahul KP on the wing, you've got Mohammed Ayman on the wing. It will be interesting to see. And Vidya Sagar, again, he needs to get minutes. That will be interesting. Daniel Lampua is also at Punjab FC. So let's see if he gets those minutes, because he's not fired since he left the I-League and went to the ISL.
He does sort of promise proper crosses, and one of his probably best attributes is that beautiful left foot that he's got. What do you guys think? Punjab upgraded enough to have a better second half?
I think they've not the potential that's not shown, but I don't think they've upgraded enough. I would have liked to see 3 more maybe transfers which strengthen the squad.
Okay. Finally coming to Hyderabad FC, Hiren.
They have a transfer ban, so they can't sign anyone.
And on the outgoings, where do we start?
I think everyone has left.
It's done.
Just Chao Victor left. Chao Victor, I think, left as the solo foreigner, and all the other you can see foreigners left, and Indian players भी सारे मतलब जो की उनके Indian players. I think this season they have to play with the all the youngster. साहिल तवरा का भी कोई बोल रहा था कि उसने भी ट्रांसफर कर लिया है, तो एवरी आई थिंक, तो फिर तो कौन ही बचा. एक गोल में गुरमीत सिंह बचे, बैक लाइन में आपका निखिल चला गया, साना चला गया, नीमदोजी चला गया, आपका विघ्नेश चला गया, मिडफील्ड में आपका हितेश साहिल चला गया, फ्रंट लाइन में मोहम्मद यासिर चला गया. So every Indian players has been left.
Yeah, no, any coming back for Hyderabad, you think?
I think Hyderabad's challenge is to try and finish the season. I've heard
Yeah.
stories that there are people who are working in the club who've not been paid for months. Again, it's bad that footballers are not paid, but I think staff who get a lower salary than the footballers, than the coaches, those kind of people not getting their salaries, you know, that's even more difficult, right? If someone is a runner, a kit person or whatever, I don't know how much they're earning at the club or were earning at the club. If they are not paid, I think it's even more difficult for those guys. And a huge respect for these people to actually keep the club running at the moment. I think that's the big thing. I hope that they can finish at least the season. But I again, it has been said X times over the last 2 years that the investors are coming, this, that, everything, and sadly nothing has happened.
Unfortunate situation, I think, for Hyderabad right now. Hiren, but they are in action tomorrow against FC Goa, so they have to play some football. They have to put out a team and play some football. You think Goa will sort of is a cakewalk for them tomorrow?
Cakewalk तो नहीं, but I think they come up with the youngster and Super Cup में उस youngster ने सारों ने काफी एक impressive fight put up की थी against the top side of East Bengal, Mohan Bagan. So that's a little bit you can say कि encouraging sign, but I think the situation and everything also you can say कि have a toll on the players. So I think definitely FC Goa are the favorites for that match.
Yep, yep. Arnav, again, just on Hyderabad, how much does it sort of affect the mood of the camp that your club is in a situation as it is? What do you think? I mean, what sort of an effect does it have on the players as well?
I think it's forget the football part of it. It's a mental pressure, right? If you're
Hmm.
not being paid, if you don't know what the future of the club is, um, and I would say, despite all of that, Hyderabad actually didn't play bad in the Super Cup. Take the match against Srinidhi out. I think Srinidhi wanted to prove a point. So from that perspective, but this team is uh, about just about survival, you know,
Yeah.
and it is. I mean, I tweeted it yesterday. It's very sad to see what this whole story of that that this club who's sort of uh, um, is in a situation where you think you know it's just playing for the sake of playing, and it's sad. Again, it's everyone who's not being paid or has not been paid in the past, it's a problem. um, but then I think the league needs to somehow step in and create guardrails, and you have situations. um, we've had here a situation in Germany with an ambitious fourth division club just being taken out of the league because the owner went bankrupt, right?
Hmm.
Paying very good salaries for the fourth division, but the club then tried everything possible in the winter and has not been able to get anyone to come in with the money, especially with the money that some of these players were on, and the club had to say, listen, you know what, we're pulling out of the league. So then the question is again, can Hyderabad afford to go outside of Hyderabad and play the matches? Are they going to be paying the hotels, or is if they're traveling outside of Hyderabad? We've had this issue which came up. I think it was in Jamshedpur where a hotel said they didn't pay their bills. So these are the kind of issues we had in the past with airlines in India were not being given ATF. They were not getting fuel if they were not paying upfront. So that is something. So that's the situation. All the rumors that you're talking about, no one is coming forward to buy. I mean, that they've made efforts. There is no one at the moment which looks to be very realistic to try and buy the franchise, which I find very sad, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunate situation, I think, as it is for Hyderabad. But guys, let's we've got some football, and they're playing some football tomorrow. Scoreline predictions for tomorrow, Hiren?
I think 3-0 victory for FC Goa.
Okay, quite comprehensive. Nava, you agree?
Yeah, he took away my result. I also said
Yeah,
three goals
yeah,
for.
yeah. 3-0. Then Nava and Hiren, both of them sort of going with Goa wins. But yeah, guys, before we wrap up, just want to ask you guys, transfer of the window. Any signing that sort of stood out to you guys?
Mm,
Still thinking.
mm.
I've thinking. There's no exceptional transfer of the window, I would say. I mean,
I think this
I
Victor Vasquez will be the interesting one. 37 year and this high. You can see the previous record of history of playing at the all of these things. I think that will be the interesting one for me.
Yep,
I,
yep.
I think I think outgoing would be for me Greg Stewart,
Hmm.
you know,
Obviously.
and I think Sana Singh. Yeah, if
Okay.
I have to take
Indi-
in, you know,
Yeah. Akash agree. Sanad BFC. So yeah. So that's what we've got for today, guys. A nice little transfer roundup. Ran through every club. Jamshedpur Northeast, of course, that ended 1-1, and tomorrow we've got FC Goa against Hyderabad. The ISL's back on, and we've got matches every day pretty much. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining. Thank you, Hiren and Arnava. Please do like and share these videos. Subscribe to the channels. SportsKhabri, Kirisani, and once again, we're looking to get Arun Foot back up and running. So that's that. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
good night, everyone.